hopefully the second time is a charm and it's working. For those that are watching, if you're all watching, let me know if you hear the sound. I couldn't get the sound to work earlier, so I need to check to see if the sound is working. It was a royal pain to start the chat earlier and no sound. It was terrible. So I don't know if the sound's working. If the sound is working, please somebody, for any viewers, just type in yes, I can hear you. Awesome, we have sound. Yes, I started this chat. I tried to start it at 10 o'clock and there was no sound. I was all kind of scrambling around. Good morning, comic and stuff. Well, anyhow, it's Sunday. I usually cook on Sunday. I cook like twice a week. And today I want to cook one of Anthony's favorite dish. It's a very common dish. But at the same time, I figured I might as well talk about the Inhuman. Yes. This dish is actually a fairly common dish for most Asian culture. There is a version of this dish in just about every Asian culture that I know. This is my version. I kind of alter it a little bit to fit Anthony taste bud. Okay, so it's not an authentic uh, recipe. First need to do is make some caramel out of some sugar. You know, I make this dish once a month for the past decades. So it's something that I can do in my sleep. I don't really need to measure anything. I put in about a quarter cup of sugar. Add a little water to help speed up the caramelization process. Okay, so let's crank it up. Anyhow, the Inhumans, I saw it yesterday. Both episodes. Also, this dish requires pork, which I already. This is a pork shoulder, about 2 pounds, and I already cut the meat up in cube, like 1 by 1 inch, by 2 inch cube. So there's 2 pounds of pork there. I already boiled and peeled 5 hard-boiled eggs. This recipe requires so little ingredient: sugar, soy sauce, and a little salt. Okay, this is a salt container, some kosher salt in case I need salt. Okay, here we go. Maybe I can add a little more sugar. Comic and stuff. The Inhuman is on ABC. Okay, ABC. They show episode 1 and 2 Friday night, and then I believe I'm not sure when the third episode is gonna be on. I'm guessing Friday night or Sunday. I don't know. I haven't looked up the. I'm not sure. I want to watch the third episode. Hello, Brian Spaceboy. So as you can see, I'm making caramel. Okay, so I gotta watch this very carefully. Don't want to burn the sugar. Okay, so pardon me if I have to keep looking in here. But in Human show, uh, I'm So I don't want to, you know, beat on a dead horse. Okay, so needless to say, I did not like the show. I would rank it one of the worst, if not the worst, Marvel TV show yet. The caramel is getting close. Okay, so as you can see, you see that? For those that know how to make caramel, it's you can see the color. It's getting close. This is such a simple dish to make. Thank Joyce for the compliment on the Terry Austin video. So back to the Inhumans. I didn't like it. No doubt the show looked cheap. Okay, from the you know, often when you see a trailer, right, and it look bad, and you cross your finger, it's like, oh, you know, it's maybe the show is gonna be better than the trailer. Well, if you have seen the trailer and you have not saw the show, no, the trailer is exactly what the show looked like. It is nothing better as far as visual, the sets, and I think that's a damn shame. I think that it's a damn shame that the show visually looks so bad. Forget about the acting. Okay, let's not even talk about the acting. But for now, let's just focus on just the visual look. The caramel is getting closer, getting more brown. Don't want to be black. The thing is, you know, sure, the way, if you watch Netflix and how Daredevil looked great, and then Jessica Jones looked good, and then from Luke Cage to Iron Fist to Defender, you can see a decline in the set as far as the visual look of the show, even in the extras, in the stunt, you name it. It seemed like Marvel and Disney cheapened down the show to save money. You know, that's what corporations do. Okay, so the caramel is fantastic looking. Okay, now it's thick, exactly what I want. The next step is real simple. This is the easiest recipe for many Asian dish. For those that know Asian cooking, a lot of time is a lot of ingredient, a lot of steps. Not here. You make the caramel. Okay. Now you add the pork shoulder. So the show look cheap, and it's a damn shame. And the sad thing is, I don't think, you know, let me wash my hand first, okay? I don't think you have to spend a ton of money to make a show look good. You know, there's ways to, you know, it's not a guarantee to spend a lot of money and have a good looking show. So let's make it very clear. Okay, so I add the pork. Okay, let's keep the heat medium. The next thing is I'm gonna add about 2 cups of chicken stock. You can add water. I just like to add chicken stock because it adds a little bit more flavor. Okay. There you go. Then you add about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. So as far as the show, it looked cheap. It's damn shame. The set design is one of the worst that I have seen. If you see the trailer, right? I'm sure you saw how grayish everything looked, and the entire set, especially on the moon, is gray, black, silver, white. I mean, it's that dreary. It's so bland looking. Not like this dish. This dish is not going to be bland whatsoever. It's gonna have some flavor. So I add about a quarter cup of soy sauce in there, and you can add more. This is one of those things where, you know, depending on how salty you like it, or how sweet you like it, or how savory you like, you can add more sugar when you at the beginning of the steps as far as the caramelization process, or you add more soy sauce to make it saltier, or add more salt, okay, instead of soy sauce. The soy sauce add the salty flavor, uh, as well as the color, right? Because pork, if you braise pork, it's just gonna be a boring grayish looking. But when you add soy sauce and caramelization sugar, caramelized sugar, you're gonna get, you know, a dark, rich color. Okay, so hopefully I can show you. Okay, so that's what the pot looked like. Last but not least, add the 5 boiled eggs. Okay, that's it. Cover it up and let it simmer for 2 hours. That's easy. Okay, I'm gonna wait for it to boil. I'm gonna keep watching and then turn it down to simmer and let it simmer for 2 hours, and then it's gonna be tender and yummy and simple. See, that is one heck of a simple dish that anyone can cook. If you like, well, trust me, I have never met a person that did not enjoy this dish. Every time I make it, it's so simple. A guest come over, a friend come over, spoon out some sauce with some pork and then half an egg over some rice. Woo! Back to the Inhuman. The set on the moon was so lackluster in color that killed the visual. Okay, Crystal was the only character on the moon with some yellow. Medusa has more red in her hair than the entire population on the moon. It is that dreadful. It's just like, whoever thought you could make a set look that boring? And that's okay. That's just it. Now, um, one last thing about the set and the cheapness of the show. Okay, I already talked about the lack of color. The costume is dreadful. On Earth, NASA, you know, the organization that spent billions to shoot, to land a rover on the moon, on Mars. If you watch the show, NASA, all the scenes were shot in like a warehouse, an empty warehouse with 4 or 5 desks and a big setup to show, like a big screen, and then a couple Apple laptop and 3 or 4 people. I have never seen a show that portray NASA or any kind of space organization that monitor space with that kind of cheap setup. I mean, it is just insane. And the conversation, the dialogues between the 2 or 3 scientists was just dreadful. I mean, so yeah, so as far as the look, and I mean, everything just looked very cheaply done. Damn shame. As far as the story, the big premise of the story, I'm okay with that. You know, the whole concept of like, okay, there's a 2 faction of Inhumans on the moon. Maximus, you know, how he felt the need to go to Earth, and the reason why, all that stuff, that is okay. If you give me a synopsis of the show, of the pilots, in a paragraph and I read that, I would be like, okay, that works. I don't have a problem with that origin or startup, right? So, but the execution of the show was very clunky. The dialogue, the way they portrayed the Inhumans from Karnak to Gorgon. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's not very likable. Karnak was not very likable. He come across as a complete ass. Okay, for lack of a better word, it's just horrible. I'm watching the pot. It's not boiling yet. I'm waiting for it to boil before I turn it down to simmer. Um, you know, and that's a huge problem. You know, as far as Black Bolt and his use of visual hand, I'm okay with that. You know, Black Bolt is a very difficult character to portray um, outside of the page, whether it's on a big screen or small screen. I always felt that he's a character that's going to be really hard to portray because he doesn't speak, and they use a hand gesture was okay. The many facial reaction he had, I didn't care for this. There was many instances where he give you the look or the raise the eyebrow. It's just it didn't work for me. Okay, so maybe it worked for other people. It did not work for me. And Crystal, it's a damn shame what they did with her hair, and that part was god awful. Her hair is a weapon. To me, if the intention was to cut her hair in order to save money for the lack of any other reason, right? Why would you cut Medusa hair? I mean, I say Crystal, no, Medusa, okay? Medusa's hair. Why would you cut Medusa hair if that was not because you want to save money and not have to deal with CGI her hair for the show? Horrendous, okay? Even that, okay, if you want to save money and cut her hair, that's fine. But cut her hair when she is unconscious, so she can't use her hair to fight. The fact that she was fighting, beating up a bunch of guys with her hair, that was cool. That was okay, even though it looked pretty cheap. And then they zap her to stun her, but then they wait for her to wake up, and then had that dramatic scenes where, whoa, it's boiling. Time to turn it down to simmer. And that is it, folks. See, now for the next 2 hours, do nothing. Don't have to stir it. Don't have to do anything. Just let it be. And in 2 hours, when you come back, you can stir it and taste it to see if it needs a little bit more salt. If it does, I will put some more salt in there. But that is it. This is going to be a yummy dinner with some collard green and some rice. So, for me, the Medusa scene would work better if they cut her hair when she's unconscious. That makes more sense because when she is conscious, they were holding her down with two guys on her shoulder, and then Maximus come with the hair clipper to cut her hair. Oh, horrendous. I'm sitting there, I'm just like, who wrote these scenes and who thought that it will come across okay? Oh, disappointing. I mean, I think my biggest gripe with the show is that it was disappointing. Now, can the show somehow miraculously turn around in the next 6 episodes and become better? Possibly. Okay. I don't root for anything to fail. It's karma. Okay. I'm one of those person that I rarely root for anyone to fail because I just believe in if you do that, then bad thing will happen to me if I have that kind of attitude toward other people, whether it's a sport team or anyone else. I don't do that. So as far as the show, for the sake of the fanboys out there that want to watch the show, that like the Inhumans, I hope that if they do come back for the second season, that they hire different people to do set design because it is by far. I mean, this show. I'm pretty sure a bad sci-fi movie like Sharknado, one, Sharknado two or three or four, whatever number they got to now. Sharknado have better set design on a low budget. Okay, Sharknado is not a high budget sci-fi made for TV kind of production, and yet I'm pretty certain anyone that have watched Sharknado, I'm sure will agree that Sharknado visually look a lot better than the Inhuman. It's just for everyone, for every Marvel fanboy that complain about DC, about how there's so lack of colors in DC movies. It's so dark and dreary. Okay, we all have heard this. Let's be honest. There's a lot of Marvel fanboys that would love to throw some garbage on DC with that. Oh, DC movies are so dark, lack of colors. Well, guess what? What do you think about the Inhumans? Holy crap. Uh, well, I'm gonna take the lid off because even with the simmer, and then as far as the amount of water, I will keep watching the pot as it simmer. If I need to add a little more water to it so that it's not burnt, I will keep doing that. But it's good to let the liquid reduce because it just adds to the intensity of the flavor. And that's it. I'm glad I was able to get the setup working so that I can do the chat. Unless anybody else have any other questions or comments, I was just gonna end the chat because the cooking is done. Like I said, it's a very easy setup to cook, easy dish to cook. This is not gonna be a weekly thing unless people want to see me cook a simple dish because I do. I cook every Sunday. It's a must day for me to cook because regardless of my schedule, it's usually pretty easy for me to do something. I'm a simple cook, okay? I like to cook, but at the same time, I don't like to spend 2 hours in the kitchen to cook a dish. So as you can see, literally 15, 20 minutes, and it's just let it simmer, come back every 30 minutes to check to make sure that the liquid is sufficient to keep braising. Let me show you real quick before I go. Already, you can see that the pork has, it's changing color and it's going to be a lot darker, okay? It's going to be a lot darker. I just, normally I don't, need to touch this stuff, but just let it simmer. And that's it. Voila. The end. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I would love to hear people comments and opinion on the Inhumans. Okay. Hopefully I think I did a good job as far as conveying what is wrong with the show. At the end of the day, they need a better writers because one of the biggest problem I have before I go is that the way they portray the Inhumans are not very likable. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's the way they're gonna have this thing start out where the Inhuman came across as arrogant, um, feel that they are better than people without special power. Maybe once they end up on Earth, maybe once they have to deal with humanity, they will somehow change and become more likable. Maybe that's a whole plan. But for now, from Karnak to Black Bolt, can't say that I like any of the characters. I think they all came across not very well. Medusa, at least she didn't come across as some arrogant bitch. But that's it. Until next time, bye bye.